Um, we're now going to invite our patient representatives to share their stories. First, I would like to invite Sherrie to speak. So over to you, Sherrie.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for coming out tonight. I was invited to talk in this webinar and share my story, and hopefully some of you patients will relate to some of the things that I've gone through. I know that this is a very lonely disease, but I'm going to talk about that a little later. My name is Sherrie Fowler, and I have metastatic breast cancer, just like you guys do. One night in 2019, I believe it was April, I was lying in bed and I reached down to pull my breast out of my armpit and I felt a lump. And it was kind of a big lump. I mean, it was bigger than a marble, but smaller than a golf ball. And I called my husband in and I said, feel this. What do you think this is? And so he felt it and he's like, well, you probably should go get that checked out. So I said, yeah, I'll make an appointment next week. So I did, and I went, and my GP felt it and said, yeah, you should probably get a mammogram. So I said, okay, no problem. I wasn't afraid. I mean, I didn't know a whole lot about cancer. Cancer did not run in my family, especially breast cancer. And I did all the things that people thought that you should do in order to avoid cancer in general. Eat right, breastfeed your kids, all the things that I thought that I was supposed to do. Plus, I didn't have a family history of it. I did. So I wasn't worried. In fact, I was at work and I left for my mammogram, and my mammogram was at like 11:30, and I wore my walking clothes because I was going to go for a walk after the mammogram. And I drove down there and I went in, and she gave me my mammogram and she says, hey, do you have time to stick around for an ultrasound? And sure, yeah, no problem. So she leads me into this room and she does the ultrasound, or a different lady does the ultrasound, and she says, great, just give me 5 minutes and I'll be right back. Well, 5 minutes felt like 20, and I'm sure it was. The next thing I know, this doctor is coming in and he sits down and he says, my name is Dr. I don't even remember what his name was. I have to tell you that I think this is cancer, and we're going to start you on the road down at Tom Baker. We'll get the appointment. And I just sat there like dumbfounded. What? And I don't even remember actually even leaving. I remember getting into my car, and I certainly obviously didn't go for my walk. I didn't even return to work. I actually drove home in a weird kind of stupor and sat there in the garage for like 2 hours, just trying to comprehend what I even just heard. Right. And, there's those few times in your life where either something that you see or something that you hear forever changes the course of your destiny. Right. And they, it happens to everybody, a few times. Like when my child came out, of course, that was big change, and, all sorts of things that happen right at that moment. And that was one of those moments. There was no going back. There was no going back to my normal life. I was now this person that had cancer. And what does that mean? What do I have to go through? And the fear, the absolute fear of telling people that I had cancer. I couldn't tell my parents. Like, what was I going to tell my parents? I mean, they're old. They'd have a heart attack. So I had all these things. My children, how was I going to tell them? All these things were going in my mind. And really, I don't know if I can, I can speak for myself, but all I thought about for that first 6 months after being diagnosed, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, was I had cancer. How did I get it? Where did it come from? All these questions that I had, and really no one to give you answers. There is no answers of why I got cancer, but I went to that first meeting with my surgeon, and my surgeon, he felt my boobs and he felt the lump and he's feeling around and he's okay, you need to do neoadjuvant chemo first, and then we'll do the surgery. The lump is too large to cut it out first. So I was like, okay, what do you think my stage is? I don't know. Like, sure, could be stage 2. So I said, great. I left that meeting actually feeling pretty good. Okay, I've had friends with cancer. They're okay. You know, some of them even got great boob jobs. Like, you know, I think I'm going to get through this. I'm going to get through this. I'm going to come out the other side. I got this. So I actually was feeling a little lighter. And then, of course, they go and they do the CT scans and they do the bone scans. And I had my first meeting with my oncologist, and I walked in there with my husband, and, you know, I was in a fairly good mood, and we went into the room, and he comes in and he takes a deep breath and he says, I'm afraid we see something on your bone scan in your spine. So we're going to have to do a biopsy. And unfortunately, this looks like you have stage 4 cancer. Well, I never thought I could be dumbfounded, completely in shock twice now in my life. I walked into that appointment thinking I was stage 2 and I was just going to get a, you know, a mastectomy and everything's going to work out. I'm going to see my kids grow up. This is all going to turn out okay, just a bump in the road. I left that meeting with stage 4 cancer. Again, I just sat there in silence. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do. how on earth am I even going to tell how am I going to tell work? How am I going to, my whole life just literally came crashing down around me. And then I started on the journey, you know, of doing the chemo and then the surgery and then the radiation. I felt very, very alone. I didn't know anybody. I knew people that had early stage breast cancer. I remember when I found out I had it, you know, everybody has a friend and everybody was giving me phone numbers. And oh, my aunt had breast cancer too. Here's her phone number. Please call her, you know. And I actually was reaching out to these people and they, you know, had stage 1, stage 2. And oh, yeah, you know, I know how you feel. But once I got that news at stage 4, I had zero in common with these people now. Nothing. I don't even know if I could have even have talked to them. Like, we're in a totally different ball game now. You know, you and me we're different. So I felt very alone, extremely alone. And I was sitting here at work one day, and I'm still working because I felt like I needed a distraction because cancer was totally taking over my life. It's all I was doing. I was reading until late at night, you know, everything I could get my hands on. But I knew nobody that had it, not one person. And so one day I was sitting here at work and I had a person come in and she said, Sherrie, my sister has stage 4 metastatic breast cancer. Would you like to meet her? Of course I want to meet her. Who is she? Where's she from? She lives down south, just outside of Calgary. And she said, I'll bring her in and you guys can go for coffee. So she brought her in. I was very excited. The first person I've ever met, besides myself, with MBC. I went, she came in, we hugged. I felt this immediate bond with this woman, immediate bond with her. And we sat down and we had coffee and I, you know, expressed all my fears and, you know, I have to redo my will, all the different things that were coming at me. And I said, how long have you had MBC? And she said, well, it's been about 24 years now. And I was like, what? 24 years? And she said, yeah, you know, I have active tumors. I have one in my ribs and I have one in my lung. And I was like, okay. All of a sudden, another moment of hope. How have you gotten this far, this long? And she's my first person. So I had hope that maybe there is some longevity to MBC. So I felt really good. But she was the only person I knew. And I knew that I had a lot of questions and I only got to see my oncologist once every, you know, so often. And so I'd be calling her and asking her questions. And then I felt bad, you know, I felt bad because I was taking a lot of her time. And I decided I needed to find a support group. So I went to the Holy Cross. You've probably seen them in the Tom Baker. There's those signs everywhere that say stage 4 or do you feel alone? So when I was in there, I wrote the number down, went down there, did my little interview, and I got on the wait list for a stage 4 Southern Alberta support group. And I waited and I waited. And of course, COVID hit, and then it was just a real mess. And then I got a phone call one day from Dana Mail, and Dana Mail is actually here. She's one of our speakers tonight. And I got a call from her, and she says, we're doing a Zoom support group with 12 other ladies with MBC. Are you interested in joining? Absolutely, sign me up. So very excited, because now not only am I going to know Laura, but I'm going to know 11 other ladies. So I did the support group. We all bonded so wonderfully. We did lunches, we did breakfasts, and you know, that group, I joined that group a year ago, or just over a year ago, I guess it was. And there was 12 of us that started, and there is only 8 of us left, and 1 in hospice. And that has been a real eye opener for me. You know, that group is wonderful. And the support, I couldn't say enough for it. And these women will be lifelong friends for me. You know, but that's the hard part about those groups too, is really facing your mortality when you see the people around you with the same disease as you passing away. You know, I always have those thoughts of maybe I shouldn't be joining these groups. Maybe I shouldn't be, you know, this is affecting me. And, you know, but the upside is way better. The upside is way better. You know, these women are wonderful. And I remember one time I was having, speaking of pains, I was having this sharp pain behind my mastectomy side, and I was freaking out about it. And I went to a breakfast with these ladies, and I told them about it. And 3 of them said, oh yeah, that's just radiation burn. You know, it's normal to have it. And I went, what? Oh, really? These women are a wealth of knowledge. All of you women going through MBC are a wealth of knowledge. You know, we read as much as we can. You're even here tonight, learning more, seeing what we can do, you know, and there's a ton of things, you know, coming down the pipeline. And I do hope, you know, I'm very lucky I'm on my 2nd line of treatment, and I've had some stability. And so, you know, I'm just waiting it out. That's, if you don't have hope, you have nothing, right? So I'm still kind of living in denial, and maybe that's where I need to be, that there's something right around the corner that's going to come out, you know, and I really hope it does for all of us. And I sure know that they're working, you know, enough on it these days, and have invested, whoever does the marketing for breast cancer. Well, I know there's all that politics behind it, but, you know, the rethink and the support that's out there now, I do hope that they find a cure for this one day. You know, I have a daughter, and I really hope to God she does not get what I have. You know, even though this is the group that nobody has wanted to join, nobody would ever sign up for this. But what I can say is, before cancer, I was the no woman. I was, do you want to go golfing? No. Do you want to go, hey, there's so-and-so's having a birthday party? No. You know, like I think I just didn't like to go and experience things, and I didn't like to spend money. I was always fearful about saving money for the future when I retire. And, you know, the ironic part is I've gotten MBC. So, you know, I've stopped putting away for retirement and started spending that money, taking my kids on trips, buying things that I never didn't want to spend the money on before. And now I am. It's like, screw it. I want it. I'm going to buy it. So, and my husband is, you know, I come home with a hot tub one day, and on yesterday I came home with a brand new puppy. You know, like you know, if he doesn't kill me, you know, like hopefully, like I'm just, you know, I just want to live life to the fullest. And I truly believe that stress does not help at all. And it makes things so much worse. And if I am going to live every day trying to be happy, I may go broke doing it, but I'm going to be happy, God damn it. And the time that I have left, I think it's important to me, and it's important to my family. And sure, I may have lived another 25 years. And there are days when I think, oh my God, if they did bring a cure out tomorrow, I'm spending all my retirement money. Oh my God, but who cares? You know what? I'll figure that out another time. I'm just going to have fun now in the meantime, you know, and I'm so glad to see all of you guys here, and you know, we're all sisters in this battle. And so hang in there, ladies. And thanks for listening tonight.